Jim Chit Your Dreams podcast, part 2 with Coach Grubbs, and Ray and I put our heads together. Our IQ's probably still under 100, and one of the things that we did with another guest, Michael F. DeVito, is we did a fantasy draft, and we started first with land animals, and then we added to our team where we did fictional fighters, not with like guns and then just straight up
bad mothers from movies.
just straight up Bruce Lee type of stuff, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So we have two, and we're going to continue to add on to that team. And so I thought I love fantasy draft, can't get enough of it. So today, people, once again, law enforcement is kind of Grubbs' gig, his job. So we're going to put a law enforcement team hierarchy together based upon former and present baseball players. So,
and this, I give you credit. I've given you credit before, Ryan, but this is another one of those just beautiful things that came out of your brain. It seems like a simple idea because you said, Coach Grubbs, he loves baseball. Law enforcement is his thing. You put them together. It seems simple. I would have never came up with it. And when you came up with this idea, like a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, that's awesome. That was a beautiful thing. So again, good job. Hat off to Ryan Piccolotti and your brilliance.
Let me give Ryan Piccolotti some props too. So one of the coolest things, we were driving out to fastball last year in the winter. There's not a lot to see between Sycamore and Schaumburg. It's kind of a boring drive on the tollway. Ryan came up with these like tournament picks, like for movies and game or players, and we did like the NCAA tournament. And we were asking our kids about stupid stuff on the way, and then we started doing this, and we burned through 45 minutes so quickly because Ryan would come up with these. It made our drives to and from fastball so entertaining. I love it. It was great.
Yeah, and Ray has done quite a few tournaments, throughout the podcast, and he knows that I finished my 100. Now I just got to finish them up. But yes, thank you for that. And I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. So, All right, so our rules are simple. Okay, Coach Grubbs is going to quickly talk about kind of the synopsis of the position, and then we're going to just pick players for those positions. And once a player is used, you can't use. No one else can use it. So just like a normal fantasy draft, so I use Dennis Eckersley to be technician. No one else can use Dennis Eckersley at all. All right. So, and we'll put it out on YouTube and see what people think. Hopefully we get some comments, see who's got the best, and we'll go from there. So we're going to pick two police technicians to start with. Coach Grubbs, you want to give a quick synopsis of that job? What's that?
Yeah, so when I think of like police technicians, I think of like your crime scene guys. They don't get a lot of glory or a lot of love, but they come in there and do a job that's really important. They like pick up evidence. They analyze stuff. They they're doing the stuff behind the scenes to help put a case together. So it's more like your crime scene techs.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like your grunts that are out collecting evidence.
Now, when I think of that, I thought of Adam Gamble from The Other Guys.
Me too.
Okay, that's what. So I don't know if you've seen The Other Guys.
That's duty or whatever. That's Jackie.
Yeah. But yeah. All right. So you are our coach, so you can get the first pick of. We're picking two technicians. Who's your first pick?
Well, if I'm thinking of technicians in baseball, one of the guys that I think is one of the greatest technicians is Ozzie Smith. He was just there was a guy who played shortstop, never missed a baseball, never missed a ground ball. He did everything well. I'm picking Ozzie Smith.
Nice. All right, Ray, who do you got?
This is interesting. I'm sure for a lot of these roles, you could go in different directions, like I'm going to do here in a second. But also, once like the descriptors, it could have like changed my the route I went ahead of time. So I already have my draft boards established. So you could say that the technician or the sergeant does whatever, but I have my people in line. When I think technician, I'm thinking from the pitcher's mound. And I think the greatest technician of my lifetime from the mound was Greg Maddux. So I'm going Greg Maddux.
Oops. I had him in a different position, but he is quite the technician. I started there, I moved him up hierarchy, but so yeah, I lost my guys up there. All right, so since maybe I planned that, so I'm going to take both. You know what? We don't have to. I won't even this time. I have another guy that I think of once again. You think of a guy that is a technician of the game. It's a pitcher. I'm taking Kyle Hendricks for my
perfect
technician.
Yeah.
Same thing,
choice.
guys. Rebo, and goes from there. So yes, I got Kyle Hendricks. All right, Coach Grubbs, your second pick, and it's another police technician.
So, okay. Oh, another police technician.
Yes.
So if I'm thinking of, if I'm thinking of guys, and you're actually thinking about pitchers now. If I'm thinking of
Hey, you do you, man. You can do it.
Well, I know you guys got me thinking about, pitchers though, and I think that's probably more applicable. The pitchers are technically your better technicians. So I'm gonna go with a guy who I just think is probably the best technician probably in the last decade. And that's a guy out with the Dodgers now, and that's
Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw. Yeah, great technician.
All right, Ray, who's your other guy to join Greg Maddux?
Well, my other guy was Kyle Hendricks, so good job, Ryan Piccolotti. But thankfully, I had like a B team set too, and I might get some pushback on this. Hopefully, you guys are with me. You had already mentioned Alan Gamble in desk duty or desk jockey. I forget what they called, him, but police technician. I thought of that role, and I'm sure you guys saw this, whether it's Twitter or, whatever social media you're on or ESPN or whatever. Will Ferrell took a lot of reps in spring training. So my technician in the mold of Alan Gamble is Will Ferrell.
That's a stretch, but that's your bold. All right.
He did make the rounds too.
He did.
Yeah.
All right. So for my second guy, I'm going to go away from pitching because honestly, I don't want to give names because I could use them other places, but I'm going to go with the guy that does a good job in announcing and breaking down the game for different places. And I'm going with Mark DeRosa. Once again, former Cub, just a guy that's very knowledgeable. He's on. I hear him his voice all the time on the show as I'm playing video games. So I went DeRosa. All right.
Listen, that might be the dream job, is to have your voice on a video game.
Yeah.
But no, I think all of us went different directions, but I think we've all done a real nice job identifying police technicians or technicians in baseball. So I don't know. I'm again happy with this whole idea that came from your brain, Ryan.
All right. So the next two, I think that, doing my research, these two are very similar positions. And so maybe go through police officer and patrol officer, maybe the differences for us there, Coach.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, they are essentially the same thing. So if we call police officer, patrol officer, the patrol officer's duties are, he's got to be able to do many things well. He's got to be guy's got to be able to do some traffic enforcement, 1 minute, and then respond to a domestic the next minute, and then a motorist assist after that, and then maybe handling an accident. So patrol officers and police officers have to be able to do everything pretty good. Like they have to be well-rounded. So that's kind of what I would say for a patrol officer. And so if you're looking for guys who are well-rounded, a guy that I think of, I mean. A guy who does everything well, plays good defense, puts the bat on the ball, is dynamic, steals some bases. I'm going to go with Javi Baez. I just think everything Javi does is good. So he's my patrol.
Javier Baez, walking the streets, helping society. He was on my list for police officer also.
I love me some Javi Baez. I wish he was on the Sox. I just love him.
Yeah. All right, Ray, who's your first police officer?
I appreciate hearing a White Sox fan say that they like Javi Baez. Again, I went a little bit different route, but now that I know the descriptors, maybe I would have changed my mind. But I think police officer, I think kind of like big boss man from wrestling, someone who gets the job done, and maybe he'll throw a couple fists where it's necessary. I got Nolan Ryan as my first police officer. And I know he can throw punches because the White Sox and Robin Ventura. So thank you to the White Sox.
He can look like a chump.
Man, he's waiting. Dang it, you took one of my big guys at the back. All right. So my first police officer, you know, someone's on the street that's tough. That's going, once again, you said, I don't know how well rounded, but he's going to be a tough guy. I mean, his nickname was Nails. So I'm going with Lenny Dykstra.
Did he get indicted? I think he just got indicted.
I'm just saying, baseball player. We're not talking about his personal life. We're talking about as a baseball player on the field. I'm going Lenny Dykstra, baby. Nails.
Jeremy, I'm not asking you to give any names, but just think, how many corrupt police officers are there out there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe you don't know any, but there's stories about them out there, right?
Yes, for sure. And obviously, I don't know any. The men and women that I know in this county are great, upstanding people. But yes, there are stories out there of corrupt police officers. Lenny Dykstra would be that guy.
That he would.
Dang it! So you guys don't agree with my first police officer? The first,
It's all right.
It was my favorite. I was waiting for that one. All right, Coach. And who's your second police officer?
Well, so now when I go to like patrol officer and police officer, I think of a guy who can cover a lot of ground. Police officers, you know, when they're out in the car, they got to be able to cover a lot of road time. So I'm thinking of an outfielder, but I'd like to hear your two first before I go. Because I'm trying to find an outfielder that I think that would signify that or resemble that.
I do have one if Ray doesn't take him. I don't think he will, but what do you got, Ray?
Well, exactly how Jeremy described this dude. It was once said his nickname's the Secretary of Defense, so he covers a lot of ground. It was said 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. The rest was covered by Gary Maddox.
Yeah,
Gary Maddox is my guy.
Yeah, I knew as soon as you said that.
If you want him, you could have him.
Well, I went with former White Sox, former Expo. Once again, guy who could cover a lot of ground.
Tim Raines.
The Rock. Rock Raines is joining Dykstra. All right. So then, whoops. All right. So who you got then, Coach?
So I just don't want to use them up too quickly. I'm going to pass on this one right now because the guy who covers a lot of ground in the outfield, I don't want to use him because he's much too important for just to go to patrol. So I'm going to pass on this one right now.
Good. All right. So then you'll go to patrol officer. Do you have someone in mind for your first patrol officer?
Well, I kind of included those as patrol/police officer, right?
So did I. Yes.
Okay.
So do you want to go to a whole different? You want to go down the list first and
Detectives.
Go to detective? Okay.
Yeah. Your
show. All right. So detectives are like the dirt bags of law enforcement, I heard. But go ahead, give us. No, I'm just kidding, guy. I'm just kidding. All right, go ahead, Coach.
So your detectives are your guys who does all your follow-up investigation. They're the guys who catch some of the bigger cases. You know, they're the guys that are really good at doing interviews and tracking leads down and doing long-term investigations. You know, they're the guys who get called to the homicides and sex assaults and stuff like that. So these guys have to be able to kind of be, jump in there and handle some of the bigger cases.
Yes, it sounds like a good job. That's something you would do well, knowing your personality.
I don't want to brag, but I am very good at what I do. I caught a guy in Mexico, so I always tell people there's nowhere I can't catch you.
That's right. Good. All right. So who's your first detective then? Kind of looks like you, maybe, acts like you. What do we got?
Well, so a guy that I just love, who I think does a really good job of covering his bases and making sure his game is really good is Derek Jeter. Derek's a great guy. Was a great. I don't want to use captain because that's farther down.
You took my captain. Dang you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go with Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter. All right, Ray. Who's your first detective?
I gotta scratch Derek Jeter off my list. I mean, the dude's nickname was the captain. He's somebody's captain, whatever. It's okay. It's part of the game.
It is fancy. That's what we do. You take people's.
So, a detective, would you say crime dog?
Crime dog, for sure. He's a crime dog. Yep, that's right.
I'm going Fred McGriff, the crime dog.
Oops. Well played there. Well played. I didn't even have him on my list. But
you guys put some thought into this. This is really good.
All right. My first detective, okay? My guy once again, very would fit the mold, good looking, well liked by all his peers. He once challenged a whole team to fight him, and that is Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, good job. He was like a sub. I didn't know where to put him. He could have filled so many roles, right?
All right. So the second detective there, Coach Grubbs, who do you got to add with Jeter?
So this guy, he's specific. He attacks. He's type A personality. He is a guy who's just going to go out there and let you know he's in charge. Because that's what I think when I go to a crime scene, I want them to know that I'm in charge. Is Randy Johnson.
Ooh, I like that one. I've watched a lot of crime shows here on Netflix here and since COVID, and he fits quite a few. Just they're not 6'10".
He did commit a homicide. He blew up a bird one time.
He did.
That's right.
Oh, then you almost got to add that other guy that blew up. But next, all right, Ray, who do you got? You're just like a detective.
Well, I'm just a gym teacher, so I could be wrong, but I think there's a slang term for a detective. What is that?
A dick.
A dick. So I felt like I needed to have someone whose name was Dick. So my favorite one from collecting baseball cards, Dick Pole. He's my detective.
I didn't see when we have these fantasy drafts, the diversity in people's thoughts make the show. And well played again. All right, my second one is this guy once again is very similar to Rizzo, but this guy's a little bigger. I still think he seems to be mature and be able to handle himself in a big city at a young age. I'm going with the Judge, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, good choice.
It's a good choice.
All right, Corporal. What do you see in a corporal?
So a corporal is he's like in supervisory purgatory. He's more than a patrolman, but he's less than a sergeant. He's like right in between. He wants to go to be a sergeant, but they don't trust him fully yet, but they're going to give him a little responsibility. So he's in charge when the boss isn't around.
Ooh, okay. So who do you got then?
Well, so like when I think of corporal, like a guy who probably is, he's a Hall of Famer, but he didn't do anything so great but Ryan Sandberg, when I think of corporal, I just think of Ryan Sandberg.
Okay. All right.
I think that's a good pick. Yeah. Based on how you describe that.
All right. Ray?
I guess maybe I thought this position was, a little bit different than how it was just described, which, I know Jeremy is correct. My understanding of these positions aren't great, but I did feel like we were getting closer to say managerial roles here. And maybe how you described it would fit this guy. This is one of the people I want on my list, Lee Elia. Now, could a police corporal, could that be someone who get a little agitated and maybe pop off a little bit?
Well, so we always say, when you're a corporal, you're like teacher's pet. Like you're a suck ass. Sorry, you're a suck butt.
Okay, so that's not this guy. Dang it.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have corporals. A lot of other municipalities do. It is a way to put somebody in charge when a sergeant's not around.
All right. Interesting. Okay. Well, I got one. This guy maybe he has managed, I think, multiple teams in the majors and was a pretty good player. But I would think he would fit this. I'm going with, and once again, kind of freak out at times, which I love, is Lloyd McClendon.
Wow. Yeah. Good choice.
Thank you. Sergeant.
So your sergeant is is typically in law enforcement. It's your frontline supervisor. So it's a guy who's in charge of all your patrol guys or in charge of all your correction staff. They're the first person to make a decision when a decision has to be made, but they don't make the ultimate decision on big cases. They defer. But for your day-to-day operations, your sergeant is the guy that's in charge.
Okay. All right. And who do you have then? Or maybe, Ray, why don't you start this time? Ray,
Are you sure?
got? Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I think there's only one one selection. So if you're giving it to me, I'm taking the Sarge, Gary Matthews.
You guys went deep with this. I mean, you guys this is deep.
All right. I don't know, but I like Racy. Ray went with the actual nicknames of these guys. I did not. I was thinking personal.
So
My sergeant is Albert Pujols. So
Good choice.
but I had another one. I might use other different place. But yeah, Albert Pujols to me kind of hits being a sergeant.
I want to go back to my Lee Elias selection. The more I think about it, the more I'm okay with it. So Jeremy, you said it's a person in charge when no one else is around. His rant was largely about the fact that during day games, no one should have been available to go to these games, but there were enough people in Chicago not working that could fill the stands, you know? So he was in charge when people shouldn't have been around. So
I think that's a good choice. I actually like it. More thought that I put. I like it. Yeah.
All right. So who's your sergeant?
So, who's my sergeant? I'd probably go back to someone go to the White Sox, and I'm going to go with Jose Abreu. Everybody knows he's in charge. You know, he's not a flashy guy, but he when he steps out to the field, he earns the respect. He makes decisions out there for the Sox. So I'll go with Jose Abreu.
Just like how do you spell Abreu? I'm
Abreau.
R
Eau.
something like I'll check it later again. Maybe Jake will send us text.
yeah.
All right. So if I don't want to have to go. So let's go lieutenant. What do we see?
Yep. Well, so lieutenant is your next supervisory level up. So he's usually in charge of like the division. So the patrol division or corrections division or communications division. So he's just next in line. He's in charge of all of his sergeants.
Okay. All right. So I guess if I go first, if we start rotating, I got some good guys on this list. Next step up, one guy who's very well respected, in the baseball world, and people love to play for him, and you hate him when he's on it. But I'm going with Yadimir Molina.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
I don't know how to spell Yadimir. So yeah. All right, Jeremy, who do you got?
Go Ray. I'm gonna let Ray go.
Ray, okay.
Well, I don't have to go. I just wanted to interject that the way Jeremy described the position, with communication and leader and things, I was thinking catcher, and the first name that popped in my head was Yadier Molina. So I did like that pick by you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, you tell me, Jeremy. You can pick, or I will. It's up to you.
I'll defer to you. I'll defer to you because I'm getting more out of this than you guys are.
I'm kind of changing my selection, and because you took captain Derek Jeter way back when, I'm kind of changing my draft board in my mind right now.
Hey,
not that this guy. Go ahead.
Can we make a change here?
Sure.
All right, so we can go back and address the detective's position, but I agree with Ray. Derek Jeter is clearly a captain in the pantheon.
Don't let me talk you into it.
I feel like we're gonna do Derek Jeter a disservice if we keep him down as a detective. I mean, like if he was in my department, he'd be way higher up than that.
So you're saying
I think we.
Yes. Do you want to put him down to captain? We'll let you do that.
No, we're gonna put him in Ray's spot. I mean, that's
no.
He could be in both of our spots if that's even allowed. But
nope.
Derek Jeter,
if I can,
he's got to be higher.
I'm not going to allow you to do that. I'm vetoing this. It's like the Chiefs. Andy Reid isn't like, you know what, Bears? You completely messed up that draft a few years ago. You should have taken Mahomes. You have him. Go take him.
Oh, so now I'm Ryan Pace. Oh, now I'm Ryan Pace. Great.
No, you're Andy Reid. It isn't any better, I guess.
All right.
So did you have another detective in mind, or we'll go back?
I'm gonna pass.
Okay. So Ray, you need a lieutenant.
Well, I just thought this person needed a role on the team, and I didn't know where else to put them because I was in my own mind coming up with the descriptors. So this doesn't fit Jeremy's definition, but I need Reggie Jackson on my team, my law enforcement team. I think he gets stuff done, especially this time of year. You know, he missed October. He needed a pretty important role, and that's where I put him.
All right. All right. How about you there? Jeremy, who do you got for lieutenant?
Yep. So kind of along those lines, like he was a very dominant personality, but I didn't trust him enough to be a captain yet. I put him as Roger Clemens.
I had him on my list for corporal to sergeant, but yeah, he was on my my spot there.
And maybe and had he not maybe been alleged to have been the juice, I probably would even put him higher than that because I used the the epitome of a dominant pitcher.
Yeah.
How old is Roger Clemens? Do you know offhand approximately?
I think he's in his 50s now.
And he pitched in an alumni game at Texas just like a year or two ago, and he was throwing like 6 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he's legend for his working ability. Like he was a workhorse.
Yeah. All right, Ray. Who's your captain? That if it's not Jeter, you got another captain.
Well, I think you need a guy that's going to show up every day, right?
Oh,
maybe an Iron Man of sorts.
Gosh darn it!
I'm going Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig is my.
Well, okay. Let's see here.
Were you thinking Cal Ripken Jr.?
He's on my list somewhere around here. But yes, Lou Gehrig. Well done. All right. So then my captain, I am torn a little bit now because they're both here. What do you think? Is a captain is someone that's loud, take leader, or can he be kind of quiet and get his job done?
I think captains can be basically he commands so much respect that he doesn't need to be loud.
Excellent. Mike Trout is my captain.
Ah, no, he's the deputy chief of police.
Nope.
Oh.
I like it, but I got some other guys. But no, Mike Trout, captain. All right. With that being said, yes, a little upset. You can't have a fantasy draft without someone getting upset about your pick. So there we go. All right. So Jeremy, you can start with.
It's on my list right there, Mike Trout.
All right. Well, then who's your second pick for deputy police chief?
Well, so I'm going to say this name, and I'm hoping that Ray doesn't get mad at me because I just did a little like twinge when he said that. But Cal Ripken Jr. was my deputy police chief. And when you talk about Iron Man, a guy who has earned the respect of everybody universal in baseball, Cal Ripken Jr. is my guy.
Yep.
Probably one of my favorite top three guys.
Top three? Who's your top three? Who's your favorite top three then?
Oh, my top three?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't tell you. I'll have to tell you here
next later.
He's on my list.
Okay, you're right. You're right. All right, Ray. Who's your deputy? Oh, we didn't. You didn't give a synopsis of the position there. Besides being second man in charge. Coach Grubbs, what's the deputy police chief entail?
Oh, my apologies. All right, so the deputy police chief is. Like the title says, he's right underneath the chief of police. So he does all the real work for the chief. He's the one out there putting the fires out, doing the stuff that the police chief doesn't want to do, doing the follow-ups with all the departments. He's kind of doing the dirty work for the chief of police. But when the chief's not around, everybody knows who's in charge is the deputy chief.
Gosh. That's where I should have put Lenny Dykstra. That sounds like Lenny Dykstra right there.
No. Way too high up for Lenny.
Wally Backman then. All right. Ray, who do you got then?
I feel like I'm pretty heavy with the Yankees on my team here, but I'm going Joe Torre. Joe Torre, kind of a managerial type. I think it fits some of the descriptors that were mentioned. He's in charge when the chief isn't around. He made pretty good decisions. He managed the troops underneath him, if you will. Brought the Yankees several of those 27 championships.
All right. I'm also going with a Yankee that's and then also done some good job coaching. You can't use a baseball player without having a guy whose actual nickname was Baseball. So Donnie Baseball is my deputy police chief. Don Mattingly. Oops, not Dom.
Good pick. That's a really good pick.
All right, chief of police, the big dog of our team and our law enforcement agency.
So
Who'd
chief police,
for
the chief of police is a face of your, face of your organization, guy who is out there responsible for everybody and, supposed to carry the torch for you. And, he's the one that takes the fall or gets all the glory. So
excellent. So who do you have?
Well, so I might have messed up here because when we messed around with the Derek Jeter thing, I kind of threw my game off here a little bit because I panicked when I said Derek Jeter for detective, kind of threw me off because I had Jim Thome up here, and if I had it all right, Derek Jeter would have been my captain, and everybody else could have kind of slid around, but Jim Thome is my guy. He's I love one of my favorite players of all time. He went out there every single day, did his job, and did it so well that he got himself in the Hall of Fame. He didn't have to brag, but he was so well respected. Everybody knew that he was in charge there. And if you're looking for a face of an organization, that guy's. If you're trying to teach a young person about what kind of athlete should be, it's really Jim Thome. So he's my guy.
Excellent, Ray.
Well, this a little bit of a stretch for maybe a slightly different reason, but you talk face of an organization. As I said, I'm pretty heavy with the Yankees. For my number one at this position, and you guys can veto it if you would like, I have George Steinbrenner. He's like the leader of my organization. Can I have him? I don't think he ever played, whereas Torrey played. Lee Elia was a pitcher back in the day. Some of my other people played. Is George Steinbrenner no?
Judges.
No, I say
we said baseball.
Is a yes.
We said baseball players. So I'm
all
sorry.
Right. That's okay. My number two did play, but also was a mastermind when he went into administrative roles. Billy Beane.
A great pick.
Well done. All right. Well, you know what? I'll have my pick. We got to finish up with another one here, and since we've only got a minute left, I'll finish mine, and then we got a couple positions up there. So let's. I'll send one more link, and we'll be done in about 15 minutes. Y'all good?
Good.
Sure.
Okay. All right. All right. My police chief. All right. This is a guy that, once again, a lot of times you play the guy. I think one of the most unselfish thing to do in baseball is to stand there and take a pitch after and get hit. This guy was a former manager. To me, he seemed like a guy that could take a lot on his plate without getting upset. So my police chief is going to be Don Baylor. Got to get to it.
Yeah.
So.
Was he a good manager or no?
I think
I don't know if he had any success as a manager. I mean, he did as a player, right? I mean,
yeah, it might be somewhat of a stretch, but that's what I went with, just because, like I said, I think that he was willing to take one for the team and be out there.
Yeah.
I think he still was kind of a leader. So yeah, I went with Don Baylor. All right. So now we have to backtrack a little bit. So a couple people off the list, you go back. So what we got? You need your second police officer there, Jeremy.
I think I'm gonna go with a guy that we talked about it in a swing analysis. So he can do all things, kind of be able to cover all those things, play good defense, swing a big bat. Nolan Arenado. We'll take him for
That doesn't look right. Ariel. I think I'm missing letters.
Arenado.
Ariel.
N-A. Yeah, N-A-D-O.
Oh, there we go. Wait. Okay, I got. Oh boy. Flip this over. As we're thinking about it, then Ray, who's your first patrol officer? That doesn't look right either.
Well, I don't think you can have a law enforcement agency without Vance Law. He's one of my patrol officers.
Oh, look at you.
Well, then I'm going to take Rudy Law then.
I was going to say, I'll take Rudy Law.
All right. Well, I didn't go that way, but I thought that in the movie Superbad, right? Shaq was a police officer, was patrol police officer, correct? So similar to Shaq, a guy that big dude, don't really want, you see him, you might think twice about doing some crime. I'm going with the big hurt, Frank Thomas.
Good.
Great pick.
Yeah, I can see it.
When I'm looking at these organizations too, like I look at a couple of these guys, I'm like, oh man, they should be so much higher up in the organization than they are.
They're working their way. They're working their way up.
I don't know how. First off, Lenny Dykstra is probably going to get charged in our organization.
Gosh. All right. Do you want me to change? Because I could tell. So I just thought that was a funny one. So if I had to go back, all right, to my, what is he, a police officer? I'll change him. This guy's even better.
But I mean, it's okay. You maybe
that's a good pick. I mean, Lenny Dykstra is a player.
Strawberry.
Yeah, Lenny Dykstra as a player was a great player.
Jose Canseco, man.
No, you picked another criminal.
He looks good. He would look good. He would look good. Okay, in a plea that he's that guy that looks good in it when he comes up to your out of that.
He looks good when his jersey sleeves are cut off and he's showing his.
That's right. I'm sticking with Dykstra.
Stick with
Dykstra. You got to put the K back in. All right. So Frank, right. So your patrol officer, Jeremy, did I miss it? No, you haven't got it yet. You can do back to back. You got two here.
Yeah, so I got one more too, but you guys might have to refresh my memory. But when I think of this guy, it's kind of who was the Cubby, the '80s Cubby shortstop?
Sean
Dunston.
Yeah, Derek. Yeah, or no, Dustin.
Dunston. Sean Dunston.
Sean Dunston. He's my patrol guy.
All right.
Sean Dunston. Shawan, that's right.
All right. And who's your other one? Shawan. His partner. They're partners. So they got to kind of get along. Or they could be direct opposites. I mean, Alan Gamble and Terry Hoyts.
Yeah, so I'll go with my other detective there will be like Ozzie Guillen.
So the other detective is Ozzie Guillen, all right.
His 80s counterpart.
You want a patrol officer or you want him as detective?
Well, he could be my detective. No, he'd be a good detective.
Okay. I had him as he was going to be my patrol officer. So, yep, I was right with you. Yep. Ray, who's your second patrol officer?
Well, I know who it is. I just want to see if he played with Vance Law because they might have crossed paths. I picked someone who, like you mentioned, he's a big dude. You don't want to mess with him. Now, this dude played in the 80s, and he looked like he could have been a 80s patrol officer. Greg Luzinski.
Oh.
Had the aviator glasses and everything. I mean.
Another one. How do you spell that?
Luzinski.
That doesn't look
big
right.
stick.
I think that's right.
Ray.
Yeah.
Put a couple up there on the roof.
Right. My other guy, oh boy. I have a couple. I'm going to, let's see here. I had him kind of in that corporal sergeant. I got one guy, but I'm going to go with I'm going with another feisty guy. I guess when guys in the streets, I want them kind of feisty, that people know not to mess with him. And this guy, if you try to show him up, he's throwing a 95, 98 mile fastball at your head. And that is Bob Gibson.
That's a great pick.
All right. So our last selection is Coach Brothers' last patrol officer.
I don't want to be like Michael F. DeVito here, but Bob Gibson's a little old, isn't he?
We're always talking about when the guys are in their heyday.
Their prime. At their prime. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anytime we do this. Come on, my kid.
That's okay. I was just trying to be funny. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is a guy who I think is going to make the game. He's working to make the game fun again. I think he's on the cusp of being a great player. Is Tim Anderson?
Like it.
Yeah, my kids love him. We love watching him play. He just brings the energy. So I figure I got to get in there somewhere. And then I got to change my chief of police. I got to fix. Jim told me somewhere, but my number one favorite manager of all time is Tito Francona, Terry Francona. Just love Terry Francona. I was hoping the Sox would go out and be brave and get him. I know he wasn't available, but I was hoping when they fired what's his name here that they would have gotten Terry Francona. But
You've already picked your team and gone on the wire when saw someone that you wanted, huh?
this is the worst possible pick ever that the Sox just did was hiring Tony La Russa. I can't tell you how deeply disappointed I am in that pick.
How about you guys that go undercover? What position? So are they what are they called? We have some time. I mean, I know Ray's got to go to bed in about 5 minutes, but that's okay. We're gonna keep it a little long.
So your undercover guys are your narcotics guys, right? So those are your cowboys.
So I'm just gonna put undercover.
Nick's got one of those.
Yeah, those are your undercover cowboys. Though those guys are kind of that cowboy spirit. They're the take chances. They live for the adrenaline rush.
Yes. Yes. All right. I'm going to go first. I got one. And same thing. You don't want to mess with this dude, but I'm pretty sure, I bet he could hang with a lot of different variety of people. That's Kyle Farnsworth.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Whew. He's a little bit cuckoo, too, but yeah.
That's right. That's right.
He's a junkie.
Ray, how about you? I know this is throwing up.
Are we two undercovers?
Yeah.
Well, you go a little kooky and someone who can hang with a lot of people, probably. I'm going to go Ricky Henderson.
Yep.
So if we're going with that kooky cowboy kind of deal, the guy who closed for the Atlanta Braves.
John Rocker?
Ball of fire. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. John Rocker.
That's a good one, too.
High energy, but nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. All right,
yeah,
Jay,
these are definitely your closer type of personalities. These are your closers.
Yeah. Who's your other one then to go with Rocker?
So if I'm picking a closer that if I'm going to go with a guy high energy kind of guys who are a little bit cuckoo. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart.
Ray, do you have someone in mind while he's thinking?
Well, the way you guys have been talking, I think I got to go Mitch Wild Thing Williams.
There you go. There you go.
That's another great pick. You guys are showing me up.
I'm going unless you thought I'm going with another guy that you know what? I bet he'd be good undercover, and he's been known to throw a punch or two and gave a few black eyes. Mr. I don't know his first name, but for Mr. Odor for the Rangers, he joined with Farnsworth undercover. So R. Odor. Oops.
Is that Francisco Odor?
It's what is it? It's R. Second baseman that knocked out Jose Gonzalez there on the double play.
Yeah.
I can't think of how to spell it or say it.
It's like roughed, but instead of the H, it's an N.
Rogue Noor Odor? No, Rogue Noor.
Say it. How to spell it?
Ougned.
There you go. Roughed Odor. Got him. Go mess with people. All right. And this is the last selection of our fantasy league or fantasy law enforcement team with using baseball players. He's still thinking.
I'm trying to think of some.
Well, while he thinks,
some high energy guys.
It dawned on me for a detective that solved a crime in baseball, maybe the most popular one on the field, the Pine Tar incident. I wish I had a spot for Billy Martin here. You know, he cracked down on George Brett that evening, you know.
You know, that's George Brett would be another high energy.
Oh, yeah. He for undercover.
Yeah.
Dirty. So someone I didn't get on my team, down some that didn't make it, that you look, you like find a spot. Rossi, I had Rossi somewhere, the hierarchy. I had Craig Counsell as a technician.
Oh, yeah.
Fergie Jenkins also.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Hoffman, police officer, patrol officer for me.
He strikes me as a detective.
You're probably right.
Where Rodney Beck? I needed a place for Rodney Beck.
Where would you put Joey Bell?
Oh, well,
He
he's
was
gonna be
consideration
that-
for police officer.
Albert Bell, yeah, Albert. He's that big guy you don't want to mess with.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's right.
Mike Schmidt. And my last one that was on the list that we didn't talk about was Mike Schmidt. So,
Oh, yeah. You mean sergeant, lieutenant kind of string right there, right?
all right. For everyone who's listening, watching, if you're listening and you want to remember to put them on YouTube, Gym Teacher Dreams, our website, gymteacherdreams.com. I will put the teams out there, and obviously the podcast will be up on that one. So, and you can always comment. You want to put a team together and put it out there. We'll get it out there also, because it was fun, guys. So thank you.
Thank
Coach
you.
Gus,
This is
thank
a
you
lot
for
of fun.
coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, Jeremy, it was awesome to have you.
Yeah, thank you. I'd be glad to come back anytime.
Well, you'll be back. How about that? All right. But one of the
Trivia.
things,
It sounds like he likes trivia. Let's do it.
yeah, that's right.
Let's
He
do some
challenged you.
trivia. I'm
He
down for some
challenged
trivia.
you. He did challenge you. So yeah, you're in. All right. So our next
But
trip.
one thing I realized tonight, Ray comes well prepared. Like, this
Not always.
ain't his first
You
rodeo.
caught me
He
on a
comes
good
well
evening.
prepared.
Yeah, that's funny, because there's a lot of times he'll say, I haven't really prepared for this. So we actually did catch him on a good one there.
Yeah, he was prepared.
That's right.
That I know. He did a great job. The laws and the crime dogs. I didn't even think about Sarge, all that. I didn't think about any of that. That's beautiful.
Those
Yeah,
were
Gary
layups.
Matthews. His pick for Gary Matthews might have been one of the best ones.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, nickname the Sarge. Okay. Jeter's captain. He had him right there. Yes. Raymond was having a good day today, and that old brain of his.
It was.
And the second thing is, our catchphrase, as you know, is tell a friend. But we want to get to the point where not just tell a friend. How about you tell us a friend who you think would enjoy coming on the show, and ask him if he would, and we could get the information. We'll get him on the show.
Absolutely.
Do you have someone that would in mind? You let us know. So like,
you don't want me to name anybody tonight and put them out there. Like
No.
off the air when we close it. But we talk about that's Ray's catchphrase, as you know. But I want to get to the point where, okay, you say tell a friend. We want you to actually tell that friend, and hopefully that person, he or she, would come on the show. And that's when, once again, we keep adding that, and then that friend will tell another friend, that friend, so forth, so on. So that's what we talked about doing. Now, if we ask our guests to do that, we're in. So, Gym Teacher Dreams podcast. Thank you for watching, listening, and we love you. We miss you. Take care of yourself.
Tell a friend.
Bye-bye. And